Good evening. I'm Ferman Milster. I'm associated with the University of Iowa right now. I do have a South Georgia connection. I lived for about 3 years in Kingsland, St. Mary's, my twilight tour in the Navy about 20 years ago. Never in my career did I have the hospitality that I did in South Georgia, and so you have a very special place in my heart. I'm going to talk to you about our biomass project that's been commercial since 2003. We started working on it in 2001. A couple of weeks ago, our university president announced 10 sustainability goals, and we have a 10-year plan, 10-year goals. By 2020, these first two are what affect our utility organization. And the important thing here is in 2020, we'll consume less energy than we did in 2010, despite growth. And we have a very ambitious growth plan. In 2008, the campus suffered a major flood. About 4% of our space was taken offline. We have the state's largest hospital, one of the nation's major teaching institutions, and it has announced an $800 million expansion. So we aggressively have to find ways to offset that energy through energy efficiency and better systems. The other important thing is to get to 40% renewable energy by 2020. We really don't know how we're going to do either one of these, but we have a lot of smart people and we have the support of the institution behind us. These are the forms of biomass, different forms of biomass that we're aggressively pursuing. Right now, our major source comes from oat hulls. Quaker Oats has a plant that employs 1,200 Iowans in Cedar Rapids. It's 20 miles north of Iowa City. They generate about 100,000 tons a year of the outer hull of the oat grain that they needed to change the way they were processing that, the residual. It's a residual byproduct of making oatmeal. And so they contacted us in '01 about seeing if we would be willing to burn it in our fluidized bed boiler. And that's what started it. We're now working on landfill gas and wood chips. We have some exciting opportunities, although not in the near future, about looking at municipal solid waste. And this is what it's all about. It's keeping that carbon cycling, not pulling it up from underground and fossil fuels. This is a slide by fiscal year, looking back about 6 years. This is the percentage of our total energy that we buy, both electric power, fossil fuel, and biomass. This is the proportion that we've been able to do from biomass. Our peak year, we were a little over 14%. In FY09, we were severely impacted by that flood, and we're still coming back from that. Well, what did we do? We have 2 coal boilers at the plant. I like to call them solid fuel boilers right now because we're exploring numerous fuels, biofuels, besides coal. We took one of our boilers and, in cooperation with the boiler manufacturer, designed a pneumatic fuel injection system that sprays the oat hulls into the boiler. And when it does that, it backs out the amount of coal that the boiler's using. We're able to sustain about 50% heat input using that process from the biomass.
Burning oat hulls in the power plant reduces the carbon emissions of the power plant. And burning the oat hulls is a better environmental alternative than burning coal. It saves around $1 million a year because the oat hulls are cheaper than coal. So there's both an environmental and a financial benefit to the university. In 2001, Quaker Oats approached the university because they were looking for an outlet for the oat hulls. With testing and permitting, it actually took about 3 years. In 2004, the university started burning oat hulls on a full-time basis, on a regular basis, and becoming a consistent customer for Quaker. It's not incredibly common. There are other people doing it, but there have to be certain situations to make it feasible. For us, it is feasible because Quaker Oats is so close to the University of Iowa that we can get the oat hulls at a reasonable price, and they're delivered within a short distance. A lot of people think of wind energy, they think of solar energy when they think of renewable energy sources. But this is one that can expand to a lot of other power plants around the country, and it actually can save money. It's a cheaper energy source as opposed to some of the other energy sources that are out there that actually cost more, and you have to offset those costs. It's a way of producing energy with less pollution. The university is unique in putting this much effort into a renewable fuel.
These are our annual results since we went commercial, since '03. As of the end of last calendar year, we were just a little over $5 million in fuel savings. This shows the fossil fuel carbon emissions from our combustion sources. The important one here is the gray line at the bottom is from our stoker boiler, the one we're working on trying to get biomass in right now. The green one just above it is the CFB, the circulating fluidized bed boiler. You can see in 98 through 01 the carbon footprint, and then it starts to narrow in and decrease as we start burning more and more oat hulls. Again, these are CO2 emissions from fossil fuel sources. Right now we're working with a local landfill. They generate landfill gas, and we have a new district energy system at one of our satellite campuses where we've installed some engine generators, and we'll be using landfill gas, which is also renewable. We're also in the process of installing a Hearst boiler. This is made in Coolidge, Georgia, just up the road a little ways, and they have a great mousetrap, and this will be our first experience with wood chips. We are closely coupled with our College of Engineering. We sponsor some fundamental research. These guys are doing gasification characterization of various fuels. Right now we're working on expired seeds. Iowa has a lot of expired seeds at the end of the planting season that they are looking at using it for fuel. One of our themes is local. Iowa has no coal mines, no gas wells, no oil wells. So the $20 or so million we spend a year on energy, all that money leaves the state ultimately. Well, we want to pull that back in, and as you've heard others say, we want to keep that money locally, stimulate the local economy. Thank you.